Everybody, welcome back to ROMR. On today's episode, I just dropped my wife off at her job for a little bit. I'm going to go get her car washed, and I'm taking you guys along for the ride. I'm going to show you a new product from EVPlay and how it has fixed one of the biggest issues with GM EVs. Cue the intro, and let's get after it. All right, guys, this is it. Running through the car wash, but this is the EVPlay device right here. It is a USB-C device. It's also got an A plug here for doing some firmware updates, but it plugs in via USB-C right down here. And it's going to give you Android Auto and CarPlay in your GM EVs. For whatever reason, some mysterious reason, they decided not to include those in their operating system. Let's start with the basics. In most GM EVs, you're running a platform. It's an Android operating system called Android Automotive. Don't confuse that with Android Auto, which is the phone mirroring platform we're going to show you later. It's an okay system. For the most basic stuff like navigation, you're running Google Maps. You can log in with your Gmail account, and it'll keep track of places you've been. It does an okay job with that. You can listen to some basic music apps, YouTube Music, Apple Music, Spotify is on here. There's some additional apps you can download, but not that many. The Play Store here associated with the Android Automotive is pretty limited. If you want to do anything really productive, or you want to do things like group messaging through WhatsApp or even regular messaging, and you want it done well, you need the phone mirroring platforms. And so on that note, right here, you see this little icon, EVPlay LT? That's what's going to enable CarPlay and Android Auto. I've got it as a shortcut up here. So let's hit it. And right away, we've popped into Apple CarPlay. It works, guys. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on Apple CarPlay. If you have it and you use it and you like it, you know what it's all about. Personally, I don't think it's that great. It's very limited compared to Android Auto, which I'm going to show you now. Okay, and in order to show you that, I'm going to bounce into the settings menu for EVPlay. And so you can see that you got a lot of different options now. You can obviously get into CarPlay, Android Auto, and now they have direct phone mirroring available for either type of phone, which is pretty cool. You can control the size of your CarPlay icons. You've got some more controls down here I'll show you, because we're going to switch to Android Auto. Gives you a little bit more control over the display, DPI, and resolutions. And you can have a little bit different visual behavior as well, whether you want to see the nav bar, whether you want the nav bar hidden, full screen, or default to what the system does. There's a lot of ability to go in here and sort of customize and switch back and forth between phones. Either way, we are going into Android Auto. I'm going to go down here and do an apply and restart, and it will then connect to my phone. Guys, one note. I realize how dirty the stinking screen is, but there's not even a paper napkin in this car today. So if I don't get this video done today, it's never happening. So apologies in advance. Okay, so here we are. We're running our Google Maps inside of Android Auto. I love this feature. I love being able to do this, because while I can go back to the regular system and I can put things like Final Destination in, and I don't ever have to change it, now I can run back into my Android Auto instance via the connector, and I can look for the closest Starbucks. We want to stop and get gas, whatever it is, and I don't have to mess with my route planning. So I like having that feature amongst a lot of other things, right? I've got an entire app store available to me, and probably the most critical application is right there at the top. It's actually WhatsApp. Check this out. Here's what happens if you get a message via WhatsApp. There you go. So I get a quick pop-up on the screen, and I see what the message actually is. And if I click into WhatsApp, I can see the messages that I've received over the last little while. I get to see my history. I can see that the wife sent me a photo. I don't need to check that. I can check that later. But check this out. My house is on fire. Oh my God. So I need to figure that out pretty quick. And if I click on this, it will play it, which is great.
The house is on fire. Do you want to reply?
No. No, I do not.
Okay.
Okay. But I can click that button and reply.
What's the message?
I'll have to worry about that later.
I got, I'll have to worry about. What's the message?
I'll worry about that later. I'm shooting a video right now.
I got.
There we go. And it's sent. If I get a WhatsApp message in
Okay,
the
it's sent.
regular GM system, I never get it. I don't know that people are trying to communicate with me other than my phone is buzzing, and now I've actually got to pick up my phone and use it in the car if I want to keep up with people. This drives me nuts. Most of my texting is through WhatsApp for work, for family, got folks overseas. It is used everywhere around the world. I guess they can get away with it in the US a little bit because most Americans haven't adopted WhatsApp yet, but they will. Quick demonstration of just being able to control the resolution on the screen. I like to run Android Auto with some larger icons. They're a little easier to reach and to access when you're actually using the system, as opposed to going back here to the regular system. Sure, the big icons are good to go in the GM system, but things get really, really small and hard to pick out in things like Google Maps. So when I go back here and I'm running Android Auto, I like that these are much larger, a little bit easier when you're running down the road to access. Now, as far as applications that are also useful, a lot of people hate Microsoft Teams. I love it. Everything for work runs through here, and I'm able to actually access my meetings, dial into those meetings, control the microphone. Can't do any of that in GM's native system. Now, the other application that's really cool that we like to tout as being a part of this platform is Onyx Off-Road. Yeah, the screen is really, really smudged today. Onyx Off-Road, for all of your adventure travel, you're able to use it. Now, we're in the middle of town, so you're not going to get a great demo of this, but when you get out into more rural areas, you can really see a lot of detail. So if I went up to the National Grasslands, the LBJ Grasslands, for example, and I'm able to zoom in, I'm able to see where all of my off-road trails are, what's accessible, what's not, what type of land there is out there. Is it private land? Is it public land? And I'm able to use that when we're doing those types of travels. Really cool. Again, nowhere to be found in this Play Store in the GM system. You can only get to it in Apple CarPlay and Android Auto. The other nice thing with this system is things like My Radar, ABRP. They are here and accessible, and they don't make you go through any weird logins in order to get into the application. So I just open it up, it works. One of the biggest fallacies with the GM system, it has My Radar as well. I know I'm switching back and forth, guys, just try to hang with me. That does show up in the App Store, but about every other time I try to use it or ABRP, I have to log back into the application. And guess what? It will not let me do that unless the car is parked. So if all of a sudden I'm rolling down the road and I want to use My Radar because there's clouds rolling in, I want to know what's going on, half the time I can't do it without pulling off the highway and re-logging into the application. It's very, very silly. I do not have that problem here, not at all. So once again, this is a device by EVPlay. There are a couple of folks in the aftermarket who are doing this now. I have found these guys to be incredibly easy to work with, incredibly easy to set up and use the product. Check out a link below. We'll leave one in the description so you can get one of these. It might save GM's bacon as far as we're concerned, because this has been a major frustration with this Blazer. Probably the only one. It's been a great vehicle, but its time with us is coming to an end. And up to this point, without EVPlay, I'm not sure I would consider another GM EV.
Hey everybody, two things I always forget to do. First, please subscribe to the channel, like the video. Your support is everything to us. We have a lot of momentum. We want to keep going. And then two, if this device is something that you're interested in picking up, we do have an affiliate link now down in the description. We were able to get that from the folks at EVPlay. Full disclosure, we did do some beta testing with them early on, help refine the product. And some of the things that you see, the options you see in the configuration screen in this video, we helped push that along. So really happy with where the product is at. Alex and the team at EVPlay have been nothing short of phenomenal, and we think they've got a really good product in place now.
Okay, we're going to wrap this up. I've probably tried to cut this video 4 or 5 times, and I've never really been happy with it. It usually starts off with a pretty deep rant into General Motors and why they've made this decision. I thought this time around we'd really focus on the product and we'd come back to General Motors at the end. Why did they do this? Why on earth did they decide that they would be the only legacy auto manufacturer to eliminate Android Auto and CarPlay from their platforms? Yeah, Rivian and Tesla do it. Those are software-defined vehicles, and they have built their own ecosystems. They've invested so much in it. They can control the experience beginning to end. They can go very, very deep from an integration standpoint. General Motors doesn't have that, and it shows. They have serious gaps in their own infotainment system, and so to take that away doesn't make any sense. And here's what will really drive you nuts, is that these cars have the capability of running Android Auto and CarPlay. It's already in the software and hardware stack. And how do we know that? Because anywhere you see these products around the world, they still enable CarPlay and Android Auto. They've decided to do this and take it away only in the United States. It's absolutely maddening, and I think they're finally starting to realize it's a mistake. I'll give you guys a great example. We're starting to look for a replacement for this Blazer. And we did go back and drive a bunch of different cars this weekend, including some GM EVs. Every single salesperson that we interacted with, whether it was Cadillac or Chevrolet, they all proactively mentioned the lack of Android Auto and CarPlay in the vehicle. Now, why would they do that? Well, I'm sure they've sold a lot of vehicles, and all of a sudden when people realize, probably after they bought the vehicle, that it doesn't have it, they get really pissed. And I'm sure that the dealerships are having to deal with the fallout of that. And so now they're proactively bringing it up so that you know before you spend all that money and you leave that you're stuck with the built-in infotainment system. Car dealers, salespeople are not in the habit of bringing up negatives about a vehicle unless they absolutely have to, and I think they have to. The other piece of evidence that we have is that for the first time in several years, a General Motors spokesperson has actually said, well, we're evaluating our infotainment strategy. Up to this point, they've said, nope, it's gone. You're just going to have to deal with it. If you want a GM EV, no Android Auto or CarPlay. Now they're starting to crack that door open and start leaving the possibility of bringing it back, just enabling what's already there, right? So I hope that they do. This current strategy doesn't make any sense. I will caveat this. There is one vehicle in the GM US lineup that still has Android Auto and CarPlay, and that is the Cadillac Lyriq. I have no idea why they decided to keep it in that model only. I will tell you, the EVPlay instance of Android Auto and CarPlay is better. It actually utilizes the screen better, gives you a lot more control over it. So I would still recommend, if you're going to get one of these vehicles, that you pick up this adapter. That's it. This is a video I wanted to make. You know, Casey kind of gave me a bunch of grief about doing it. He said nobody's going to watch it. And then I pointed out to him, I said, your EV Blazer doesn't even run Google Maps right now because there is a known issue with this product where the GPS module keeps failing without a really, really good fix and without a bunch of parts in inventory. So if your GPS module fails, you can't use the navigation, can't use any GPS enabled functions in the vehicle, like OnStar location. And you might wait 6 to 9 months to get a part in to fix it. If he had EVPlay and he was able to plug in that adapter, he would at least have basic GPS functionality. He could use Onyx, he could use Google Maps. So again, I'm just screaming at General Motors. Mary Barra, if you're out there, please reverse this decision. And until then, we're going to use EVPlay. Props to those guys. ROMR out.